Hello, friends. Do you see this old man? The one nobody values, the one everyone insults? No one shows him an ounce of respect. But one night, out of nowhere, he gains a strange superpower. His entire body transforms into a cyborg. And what happens to him after that? Well, let's find out. At the beginning of the story, we see a 58-year-old man who came to Tokyo with his family looking for work. He was trying every possible way to keep his family happy. But this man, named Inu, was never appreciated by the people around him. Even the job he managed to land, his co-workers treated him like an animal. After hearing endless scolding from his boss all day, he'd return home only to find no peace. Because even his own family didn't respect him. In fact, they didn't even love him. One night, Inu was sitting alone on the balcony, reflecting on his failed life. That's when a cute little dog appeared at his door, with a note tied to its collar. The note said the dog's name was Hanako, and the owner requested that whoever finds it, please take good care of her. Before Inu could even finish reading the letter, his wife Jenny came out and told him to immediately get rid of the dog. Anyway, the next day Inu went to the doctor for a checkup, and there, it felt like the sky collapsed on him. The doctor told him he had cancer, final stage, only 3 months left to live, and no chance of survival. After hearing such devastating news, Inu sat down for dinner that night and told his family about his illness. Strangely, no one even reacted. Instead, they started blaming him. They accused him of not giving them enough money, not doing proper grocery shopping, and so on. Heartbroken, Inu sat silently. Just then, his wife reminded him, "I told you yesterday to get rid of the dog. Why is it still here?" Left with no choice, Inu took the dog and walked several kilometers away from home. He left the dog behind and ran back, hoping it wouldn't follow him. But after running for a while, when Inu reached a park, he saw the dog was already there, waiting. Looking at that innocent, helpless face, Inu felt a deep pang of guilt. He hugged the dog tightly, apologized, and promised never to abandon her again. While all this was happening, Inu noticed a boy sitting alone on a bench nearby. As he walked over to talk, a blinding light flashed in the sky, followed by a massive explosion. Inu lost consciousness. The next morning, when he woke up, he was shocked. He could see everything clearly, without his glasses. The dog was still there, waiting patiently beside him. Without wasting a moment, Inu brought her back home and sat down for breakfast with his family. But suddenly, he felt incredibly thirsty. As he reached for water, he noticed his body heating up. Smoke started coming out of his hands. Afraid he might catch fire, Inu quickly stripped off his clothes. And that's when it happened. One of his arms turned into a strange robotic weapon. A weapon that ended up vomiting out the soup he had just eaten. Inu had no idea what was happening to him. Suddenly, feeling some irritation in his throat, he tugged at the skin on his neck, and his entire face came off. Inu realized the inside of his head was fully robotic. To get a better look, he stood in front of the mirror and saw that his entire body had turned into a mechanical weapon. Seeing this terrifying transformation, Hanako began screaming in fear. Hearing the scream, Jenny rushed into the room, but by then, Inu had returned to his normal form. Anyway, next we're introduced to a schoolboy named Hiro. Everyone at school bullied him. His only close friend was a boy named Young. That day after school, Hiro went over to Young's house. After chatting for a bit, they stepped out onto the balcony, and there, to impress his friend, Hiro pointed at a bird flying in the sky and shot it with his hand. The bird instantly dropped dead. Young was stunned. He couldn't believe what he just saw. To prove it wasn't a fluke, Hiro took him to the building's garage. There, with a wave of his hand, he flipped several nearby cars like they were toys. Not just that, he took off his clothes, revealing his entire body had transformed into high-tech robotic armor. Then, he told his friend, "I'm not the same person anymore. I'm a superhero now." Meanwhile, Inu was in shock. He couldn't make sense of anything that had happened the night before. It all felt like a terrifying dream. Lost in thought, he went to his office. But to make matters worse, that very day, he got fired from his job. Inu begged his boss, even fell at his feet. Because without this job, how would he pay off the house loan? How would he feed his family? But his boss didn't listen to a single word. Poor Inu walked back home, heartbroken. That's when he noticed an injured pigeon lying on the street. The moment he picked it up, he could see exactly where and how badly the bird was hurt. And as soon as his hand touched the bird's wounds, they healed completely. The pigeon flew back into the sky. Inu realized he now had a superpower. He could heal any living creature with just his touch. And then, using his enhanced hearing, he suddenly picked up a distant voice, a mother pleading with a doctor to save her child. Inu realized the voice was coming from a nearby hospital. He rushed over and saw a young boy named Kira, who had been in a coma for months due to a head injury. As Inu touched the child to help him, his internal system scanned the boy's body, and within moments, the child woke up, completely healed. But just then, the boy's mother walked in. Seeing a stranger beside her child, she started screaming in panic. Doctors quickly rushed in and tried to escort Inu out of the room. But that's when little Kira opened his eyes. The doctors were stunned. Inu, watching all of this, felt overjoyed. He quietly left without saying a word to anyone. He had never felt this happy in his life. Meanwhile, at school, we see Young again, caught in trouble with a school bully named Jimmo. Jimmo was about to beat him up. But right then, Hiro arrived. He grabbed Jimmo's hand so tightly that the bully couldn't even move. Hiro then pointed his hand at Jimmo like a gun and said, "Every penny you stole from Young, you'll give it back, now." But Jimmo didn't have the money on him. Young, not wanting things to escalate, stepped in and pulled his friend away. Even though he hated Jimmo, he didn't want Hiro to kill him. Anyway, Hiro walked out of the classroom and a girl named Sanoa followed him. She had been impressed by Hiro's heroic actions. Outside, she confessed her feelings to him, but Hiro just gave a slight smile and walked away. Right then, he received a call from his mom. She told him his father was very ill and wanted to see him one last time. She asked Hiro to visit him that night. Hiro was clearly irritated. He didn't like his father. His dad had abandoned him and his mother to marry someone else. Still, to honor his dying father's final wish, Hiro went to see him that evening. His father handed him some money for monthly expenses. Then Hiro sat down for dinner with his stepmother's family. But when he saw his dad laughing and joking with his step-siblings, rage boiled inside him. He thought to himself, this happy family could have been his. But his father had robbed him of that chance. Fueled by anger, Hiro raised his hand, ready to shoot his own father. But when he looked at the little kids, his half-siblings, he managed to stop himself. He walked out without saying a word. Still, his anger hadn't gone away. To let off steam, he broke into a stranger's house, and without saying anything, he opened fire, killing the entire family inside. Meanwhile, Inu was at a hospital, healing sick children, but suddenly, he heard a girl screaming from a nearby house. He rushed over to help her, but by the time he arrived, the girl had already died from a gunshot wound to the head. Even then, Inu tried desperately to save her, but he didn't have the power to bring back the dead. Just then, from a room nearby, he heard more cries. As he ran to help, he discovered Hiro had murdered them all. Hiro didn't want to leave any evidence behind, so he turned his hand toward Inu and shot him too, but the bullets did nothing. Inu stood back up and chased after Hiro, but by the time he got there, Hiro had already flown away. The next day, news of the brutal family murder spread like wildfire across the country. Both police and journalists investigated the scene. They discovered the victims had been shot, but there were no bullet shells or evidence left behind. Meanwhile, after seeing the news, Young confronted Hiro. He asked, "You didn't have anything to do with this, did you?" Hiro replied coldly, "Yes, I killed them. I took out my anger on them because of my father. I'm not a regular human anymore. I'm a god now." Hearing this, Young was terrified, but Hiro promised, "Don't worry, I'll never hurt you. I'll protect you for the rest of my life." But Young no longer trusted him. He told Hiro to stay away from him. Later that day, when Hiro returned home and spoke with his mom, she said, "Starting next month, you'll be staying with your father." Hiro asked, "But why? I don't want to live with that sick man and make things harder for him." Then Hiro's mom said, "I lied to you. It's not your father who's sick. It's me. I have cancer. I don't have much time left. That's why, from now on, you'll be staying with your father." Hearing that, Hiro hugged his mom tightly and said, "Don't you dare say that. I'm not going to let you die. Ever." Meanwhile, Inu was devastated after losing his job. He had the will to work. He had the skills, but he didn't have any money. Amidst all this, Inu suddenly heard Young praying. He was begging God to stop Hiro, praying he wouldn't kill any more innocent families. Hearing this, Inu flew out with his dog to meet Young. He told Young everything about his powers, how he gained them that night in the park, and he also mentioned there was another boy there that night. Maybe that boy was Hiro, Young's friend. But no matter how evil Hiro becomes, Inu said, I'm going to stop him. Young replied, Hiro doesn't have a single weakness. How will you even beat him? Inu said, by fighting him. So Young began training Inu in different ways, how to shoot from his hands, how to fight without weapons, and more. But during the training, when Inu took a sip of water out of exhaustion, his body immediately threw it back up. Seeing this, Inu remembered, on the first day when he drank soup, the same thing had happened. Young began to investigate. That's when he noticed Inu had actually been drinking an electrolyte drink. It was full of sodium, salt, and the soup Inu had that day, it also had a lot of salt. That's when Young realized Inu's weakness was salt. Meanwhile, that day Hiro had taken his mother to the hospital for a checkup. The doctor, shocked, told them that somehow, every single cancer cell in her body was gone. She was now healthier than ever, not a trace of illness. For the first time, Hiro realized he didn't just have the power to kill, he could heal too. Anyway, while heading back home with his mom, several undercover agents blocked Hiro's path. They wanted to interrogate him because surveillance footage showed Hiro entering the house where the murders had happened. But when Hiro saw the police, he panicked. He tried to escape, and in doing so, he killed 3 officers. The next morning, the news of Hiro's escape went viral. Still, when Sanoa, the girl, saw him later, she told him to come hide at her place. She said, I live with my grandma, just the 2 of us. Hearing that, Hiro went to her house. Sanoa had always liked Hiro, so she told him, you can stay here for as long as you want. Meanwhile, as Inu and Young were walking home, Inu's daughter Mary saw them from a distance. Mary, Young, and Hiro, they all went to the same school. So Mary asked Young, how did you find my dad? Young smiled and replied, oh, we just ran into each other on the street and started talking. Back at Sanoa's house, Hiro was watching the news. Journalists were now swarming his mother, bombarding her with questions about Hiro. Some reporters even began blaming Hiro's mother for the murders. The poor woman, unable to handle the pressure, had a stroke and died, even though she had just been cured of cancer. When Hiro found out, he realized what a terrible mistake he had made. But instead of feeling remorse, he started hunting for the people who were against him. He found a social media group where a guy claimed he had shared Hiro's mom's location with the police. Others in the group were praising him for it. Seeing this, Hiro video called the guy directly. When the guy saw Hiro on the screen, he laughed, proud that he had helped bring a murderer to justice. But Hiro, enraged, pointed his hand, like a gun, at the camera. Even though the guy kept laughing, Hiro somehow shot right through the screen and killed him. Not only that, Hiro began video calling all the people who had praised that guy. One by one, he shot and killed them all. This mass killing caused a wave of panic throughout Japan's law enforcement. That night, while Sanoa was talking to Hiro, he finally confessed the truth, that he really had murdered the family everyone was talking about. But Sanoa didn't believe him. She couldn't accept that Hiro could do something so horrifying. So to prove it, Hiro showed her the weapons hidden inside his body. Not only that, he grabbed her and flew off, taking her to the very place where he had just murdered people over video calls. Seeing the dead bodies with her own eyes, Sanoa broke down crying. She was devastated. But still, she told Hiro, no matter who you are, I love you. I'll never leave you. After saying that, the 2 of them returned home. But just then, a group of heavily armed agents stormed into the house. They had come to capture Hiro. Sanoa told Hiro to escape, run for his life. But instead, Hiro held her tightly and dropped to the floor, shielding her with his body. By then, the agents had already started firing bullets in all directions. In such chaos, Hiro fought back, gunning down every single agent. And when the dust finally settled, he saw it. Sanoa's grandmother had been killed in the crossfire. Even Sanoa herself had been shot and died. The death of the one he loved most drove Hiro completely insane with rage. The next morning, we see Inu warning his wife and kids not to leave the house. He even told them to turn off all screens, TVs, phones, computers, because Hiro now had the power to kill people through any digital screen. But, as usual, his family didn't take him seriously at all. Meanwhile, Hiro, seeking revenge, hacked into the city's largest billboard screen. He appeared live on the massive display and spoke directly to the people. Yes, I'm the one who killed them all, and since the police have declared war on me, then I declare this war ends only when everyone in this city is dead. Saying that, Hiro used the screen itself to start firing at the people below. Bullets rained from the billboard. Hundreds were slaughtered. While Inu was still in the middle of his training with Young, he heard the screams and chaos from the city. So, he quickly acted, switching the screen to a live news broadcast, hoping to interrupt Hiro. But even in the news studio, Hiro shot through the camera, killing the news anchor live on air. At the same time, Inu's daughter Mary had gone with her school friends to visit a tall building. That's where they saw the breaking news about Hiro's mass destruction across the city. The moment they turned on their phones to check, Hiro hacked into their screens and started killing them too. To stop all this, Inu brought Young in front of a camera. Young spoke to the public. "Please, stay away from all screens, phones, TVs, computers, any camera." Hearing this, Hiro went berserk. He launched missiles at all the city's big screens and destroyed them. Not just the screens, he started bombing entire skyscrapers. One of those missiles struck the very building where Mary was. Meanwhile, Inu arrived face to face with Hiro. He tried to reason with him. "You have to stop. The same explosion that gave you your powers gave me mine too." But Hiro wasn't listening. He still wanted to destroy the entire city. So Inu fired a bullet directly at Hiro's head. Of course, Hiro didn't die. That's when a brutal battle broke out between them. At one point, Inu heard his daughter Mary screaming. He turned to run to her, but Hiro struck him from behind with a brutal blow. Then Hiro tried to destroy a nearby news helicopter, but Inu saved the man inside just in time. Still, it wasn't enough. Hiro shot him from behind and killed him. Then Hiro looked at Inu and said, "You can't beat me. You'd be better off joining me." Saying that, Hiro reached for a bottle of water to cool down. But Inu shot the bottle, destroying it, and instead handed him an electrolyte drink. The moment Hiro drank it, his body began to malfunction. Taking advantage of the moment, Inu sprinted off to save Mary, but Hiro chased him from behind. They fought so fiercely they ended up flying into space. Up there, Hiro almost had Inu at his mercy, but suddenly, the salt from the drink crystallized inside Hiro's body. His internal systems shut down. Seizing the moment, Inu launched a final missile attack, destroying Hiro in space. Then he rushed back down to Earth to save his daughter. But it was too late. Mary had already died. Frantically, Inu began performing CPR, trying to bring her back. And miraculously, she started breathing again. With his superpower, Inu healed her completely. He held her close, overwhelmed with emotion. But just then, Hiro returned. He began viciously beating Inu, and then he started searching the building, killing anyone he found alive. Finally, as he approached Mary to kill her, Inu launched a sudden attack on Hiro. But it was too late. A bullet had already hit Mary. Inu tried desperately to heal her before she died, but Hiro kept attacking, not letting Inu get close. He beat Inu so badly he tore the skin off his face. Then Hiro grabbed Mary and carried her to the edge of the building, preparing to throw her off. Inu begged him to stop. He cried, pleaded, did everything. But Hiro ignored him and dropped Mary. That's when something inside Inu snapped. All of his power surged at once. He struck Hiro with a single blow, obliterating him completely. Then he rushed down and caught Mary just before she hit the ground. After that, the entire nation learned that Hiro was dead. People felt safe again, but the truth, that Inu was the real superhero, was known only to his daughter. No one else in the family had any idea. Later, we see Young at his home. Suddenly, Hiro shows up. Yes, the same Hiro the whole country thought was dead. But he had survived. He was preparing to leave Japan for good. But before that, he came to see his friend Young one last time. Young begged him, "Please, end this destruction forever." And with that, Hiro vanished into the night. And just like that, our strange Japanese superhero story comes to an end. How did you like it? Let me know in the comments. For now, goodbye.